Look, I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, you can't eat tech news. But it is good for you.
Hey!
Google announced a bunch of new details about their Stadia game streaming service yesterday, and we actually did our second Techlinked episode about that very story. But if you missed it, here's the important details. Stadia will have 2 tiers of membership. Stadia Pro is $10 a month and gets you 4K, 60 FPS, HDR gameplay with access to some free games with the remainder available for purchase, while Stadia Base gives you 1080p 60 FPS gameplay at no charge, but you gotta buy your own games. At $129, the Founders Edition will give you a Stadia controller, which you don't need to play Stadia, but it's recommended. Early access to Stadia Pro in November for 3 months, and another 3 months free, which you can give to a buddy, and access to Destiny 2, the collection. One thing Google did not talk about, or demonstrate, was latency, so we'll have to wait for a real-world demonstration for that. We were also disappointed to learn that you have to buy games on Stadia. But at the low end, it might actually make sense for people who would buy a $60 game but don't want to buy an expensive console or a PC. And Bungie piggybacked off of Google's stream to announce that the base game of Destiny 2 and all Year 1 content is now free, while Forsaken and the upcoming Shadowkeep expansion are not, unless you have the Stadia's Founders Edition. Jeez, it's all so confusing. I mean, I'm glad Google is entering the gaming space, but have they been asking EA for advice?
Boom!
Roasted. Speaking of Google screwing up, the company confirmed yesterday that the Triada vulnerability in Android, which was supposedly fixed in 2017, was actually not. The hackers behind the attack still managed to install Trojans into the firmware of some Android phones before they left the factory. Then Triada would covertly install spam and adware onto affected devices, which included the Liago M5 Plus and Nomu S20.
You know, those phones.
Hacking phones in the factory, called a supply chain attack, was the last resort for these hackers after Google closed the initial backdoor that allowed Triada attacks in the first place. But now, vulnerabilities like these should be closed, as Google requires manufacturers to submit new or updated Android build images for approval. But what if the hackers are inside Google? And what if there are tiny little hackers inside me?
Oh no!
And time for a checkup on Huawei.
Oh.
Google initially led the wave of ban hammers on Huawei, preventing them from licensing official versions of Android. But now they're going to bat for the Chinese company. The Financial Times reports that Google is currently trying to convince the White House that it's actually in the interest of national security to let Huawei use Android. The argument goes that Huawei's homemade OS probably wouldn't have the same malware protections as Android, so if sensitive information was sent accidentally to someone using a Huawei phone, that information could be leaked and boom, security compromised, just like that, for all of us. Well, even if Huawei is allowed to use Android, Facebook has reportedly blocked the company from pre-installing its apps, including WhatsApp and Instagram. But Russia's biggest network operator, MTS, just agreed to let Huawei build out its 5G network. Come on, Russia, stay out of this! This is a proper feud between 2 other world superpowers. You already had your Cold War. Still got frostbite from that one. Now it's the time for the Quick Beats, brought to you by Vincero Watches. You know, June 16th is Father's Day, and it's my 0th Father's Day this year. Why not prove to your dad or other people who you're pregnant with that you're a mature adult once and for all by getting him a nice freaking watch without spending too much money, because he'll be proud of you for being savvy and cheap like all good dads are. Vincero cuts out the middleman, so you'll get the look and feel of a watch that might cost 10 times the price elsewhere, like this matte black Kairos mesh. You can even engrave a message on the back so your dad knows you appreciate all those times he changed your diaper. They've got free worldwide shipping and over 15,000 5-star customer reviews, so check out their site now and use offer code TechLink to get 15% off your entire order of vincerowatches.com/techlinked or by clicking the link below. Click it! Reliable leaker OnLeaks has done what he do and leaked images of the Galaxy Note 10. It's surprisingly rectangular, with a pinhole camera centered at the top of the display, and as the prophecy foretold, there's no headphone jack. Curse you, fates! When will you awake from this cold, murky hell?
Of no headphone jacks!
Sources have told Kotaku that Blizzard canceled development of a first-person shooter set in the StarCraft universe to focus on the upcoming Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, and that's terrible. I've been waiting for StarCraft Ghost to come out for 15 dang on years. I used to read about it in Xbox Magazine in high school, yes.
Yeah.
Nova, man. Do we really need an Overwatch 2, or do we really need Nova? More ghosts reporting, that's what we need. Amazon walked back their in-home delivery ambitions, but Walmart apparently thinks they've got the answer. Walmart in-home will allow workers to enter customers' homes and deliver groceries right into your fridge. Apparently, they'll be kept accountable by wearing body cameras, and customers can even watch the camera feed in real time to make sure they don't steal anything like their honey or carrots or eggplants that are wilting. It just sounds like the setup for an elaborate Ocean's 11 type kitchen heist, which I do want to see. So, full stream ahead, Walmart.
Stream?
See what I did there? Microsoft has reportedly deleted its MS Celeb database, which had more than 10 million images of around 100,000 people. The database was published in 2016 as a data set for training facial recognition systems, but it turns out not everyone in those photos gave their consent to be ogled at by AI. It's a smart move, especially since Microsoft has been vocal recently about the necessity of properly regulating facial recognition tech. Now, if they could only properly regulate their freaking Windows updates, eh?
Hey!
Up top! Got 'em. And a company named Compass Pools has announced plans to make the world's first 360-degree infinity pool, meaning the bottom and all the sides would be completely clear. Oh, and they're building it on top of a 55-story building in London, England. Because there would be no real external way to enter or exit the pool, swimmers would use a spiral staircase that would rise out of an airlock from the bottom. Is this real, Riley? First of all, it sounds extra, and it's dangerous. I like it. But second, you're doing this in London? I can think of some better cities in terms of weather.
What do you got against London?
It's probably colder than here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right, that's enough of this nonsense. If you haven't had enough, check out yesterday's Techlinked episode, all about Stadia. Otherwise, we'll be back on Monday with more tech news. Or my name isn't Jebediah P. Buckingworth, the savviest prospector on this side of the Mississippi.
Oh, I knew it. I knew that. I recognized you from somewhere.
That's not my name, though. What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that imply?
That's... What? What do you mean?
You're losing it, Riley.